A large majority of the population may belong to the middle class, and often we hear a lot about America's shrinking middle class and their impact on the economy. They almost seem like robots because some of their reasoning, as you'll come to find out, is similar. So I have a question for you. Do you think you belong to the middle class? Well, here are 10 signs to countercheck those claims. 1. You believe in the American dream. Most people admire the American dream, and for most not living within the United States of America, the dream is about a land of milk and honey. Middle-class adults are more than just obsessed with the American dream. A great education, living in a mansion, and driving your dream car. The middle class also fantasizes about working their dream job and becoming very successful at it. You'll come to find that a majority still have faith in achieving a successful life. And even a survey conducted concluded that 55% of middle-class respondents said anyone can achieve the hallmarks of a successful life, compared with 48% for the overall population. Since the middle class are among the high earners of the population, there is a correlation between being wealthier and believing in the dream. For example, homeownership has always been a fixture of the American middle-class life. Though, after the real estate crash, not much can be admirable about the dream, as most are opting for renting as a better option. 2. You're slightly more optimistic about the economy. When a study was conducted back in 2017, the middle class was more optimistic about the economy. This comprised of almost 50% of self-described middle-class Americans. Currently, the stakes are high, considering the ongoing pandemic, as a majority, if not all the world's economies have been affected. Despite the lower middle class facing a harsh step down, more are optimistic about better days ahead and are making the most out of the situation. Most have opted to start side hustles, and some have decided to expand their business online to stay afloat. 3. A college education for the kids. Higher education is like a rite of passage for the middle class. This is why you'll find most of them are drowning in student loans, which they pay for years to come. All because of the mentality they were brought up with. The grand idea that to get ahead in life, you need to have a college degree. As you know, tuition fees don't come cheap and can cost from the low tens of thousands of dollars to hundreds of thousands. Depending on the type of college, too, the price tag could be steeper. While a parent's education level is not always a contributing factor in determining middle-class status, the act of supporting and saving for a child's education typically is. Many middle-class parents end up saving all they have towards their children's college education, just to ensure a child's success. Although it's not always definite that a college degree guarantees a successful future, a higher level of education has long been associated with greater earning power. In recent years, more people are coming to realize that all one needs are skills and specializations. As long as you're certified, it isn't necessary to spend thousands of dollars as well as years getting an education that won't be of value for years to come. 4. Where one shops. It may seem silly, but where one shops is often an indicator of class status, just like what kind of car one drives. Look at it this way. Do you ever imagine bumping into Mark Cuban on your trip to Dollar Tree or Target? Even when it comes to bulk buying or discount chains, there's usually a stigma attached to stores. Why anyone would label these stores in a classic way beats me. However, the middle class have certain mannerisms hard to ignore. For example, one of the most middle-class places to shop is Target. They even go the extra mile to advertise themselves as such, and are often viewed as a middle-class answer to Walmart. Away from household shopping, the middle class is big on brand names. Clothing stores such as H&M and Zara are also known to serve more of the middle class, while the upper middle class and upper class settle for sustainable clothing. This doesn't mean the middle class doesn't splurge on designer wear. Quite the contrary, they spend quite a lot of money on extremely expensive designer brands, just because their favorite celebrities told them to. That is why some have fallen into a debt cycle they can't seem to get out of. Mark Zuckerberg belongs in the uber-rich class, yet wears $30 t-shirts. So why does someone in the middle class who doesn't even earn 1% of his net income need an $800 t-shirt? So before you consider shopping for brand names, go for value first. And speaking of, if you guys are getting value from this video so far, do me a huge favor and kindly give this video a thumbs up. If you did, thank you so much for your support. And now, let's keep learning. 5. Leisure class. Are you always looking forward to the weekend? Do you enjoy some Starbucks latte? Then maybe you do belong in the middle class. Historically, it was only the upper class and perhaps the unemployed that had time for leisure, as the working class and middle class were completely consumed with their labor. However, with time, all this changed, as working hours reduced from 100 hours a week to about 44 hours a week. This meant that there was more time to spare for leisure activity and perhaps self-destructive behaviors. If you look at most middle-class people, they're always looking forward to the weekend, usually for rest and random escapades. If anyone knows how to party, it's the middle class. They've boosted the entertainment industry due to the adaptation of upcoming trends. As mentioned earlier, the middle class enjoy luxury. Anything considered fancy is something that's most likely to grab their attention. Even the type of cafes they frequent, in this case Starbucks, are very expensive and continue to thrive, all thanks to the hype. 6. Your household earns between $50,000 to $125,000. According to research, half of people who self-identify as middle class earn more than $50,000 a year, but less than $125,000 a year. However, a majority earn between $50,000 to $75,000. If you're racking up between $40,000 to $100,000 in your family, then chances are you belong to the middle class. This one probably seems obvious, but income is a big determining factor. However, location matters too. The middle class in one part of the country may not qualify as middle class in another, as the cost of living may be more expensive in certain areas. Typically, a median family on the East Coast earns $85,000 annually, while those in more rural areas qualify with just $55,000. 7. Tax burden. If you're facing a high tax burden, then you are experiencing the plague that is killing the middle class. A high tax burden can instantly decrease the size of the middle class by simply eliminating discretionary income. It's common for the tax burden of the middle class to be higher than that placed on the upper class due to factors such as regressive taxes and the sophisticated tax strategies available to high net worth individuals. 8. Your parents were middle or lower middle class. Not trying to kill your dream of breaking boundaries and branching into the upper class, but studies conducted show that 70% of adults who identify themselves as middle class grew up in households that were either middle class or lower middle class. To be exact, about 43% said their parents were middle class, while 27% said they grew up with lower middle class parents. That's not all. Some external factors, such as the place you grew up in, may have an effect on the chances of your overall success due to the availability of opportunities. Research from the economist Raj Shetty, for one, indicates that poor children born in certain cities are less likely than their counterparts to climb the socioeconomic ladder, which could be due to issues such as the quality of public schools and the strength of local economies. As generations come to pass, the stability of the middle class varies, as some Americans move in and out of the middle class within generations. 9. Fear of missing out. FOMO, as they call it, is something the middle class are known for. Ever wondered why some groups of people are always picking up similar travel destinations or owning similar gadgets? Most of the time, it's stuff they're hardly passionate about and do or buy just for the sake of it. This is because the middle class commonly compare themselves to peers and to the upper class. FOMO is described as a feeling that peers are doing better in life, can trigger an existential angst known as a fear of missing out. As a result, the middle class ends up copying each other's ideas and behaviors, as well as imitating the use of certain products, services, and experiences so that they do not miss out. This is why certain trends gain popularity within a short span of time. In a nutshell, the middle class is the perfect lot to sell something trendy. 10. A good job. If anything, the middle class is obsessed with the idea of a good job. Not only one that has an attractive salary, but one that offers great benefits in the long run, especially when it comes to healthcare and some retirement benefits. A full-time job with health and retirement benefits has long been considered one of the cornerstones of middle-class economic security. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, 56% of U.S. workers receive health insurance through their employers. Among all civilian employees, 27% have access to a pension plan, and 58% have access to a retirement savings plan, such as a 401k. Another separate research discovered that 47% of Americans have these good jobs. Even if you're not depending on your employer's 401k contributions, if you're in the middle class, you're most likely to have a retirement savings plan. Well guys, those are a couple of signs that you could be in the middle class. Tell us what you think with a comment down below. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss one of our updates. With that said, have a great day you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.